I'm not ready to date someone. I'm just in my healing era. I'm not ready for a girlfriend yet. Yeah, you wouldn't be saying that if you found your person. If you locked eyes with your future wife, you'd be ready. You'd be ready real fast. And it could be an excuse unless it is your future wife, which is exactly what happened to my podcast guest today. Welcome to Queer Women Rising, where I phone lesbian friends, talk about queer love, how to dodge the dating drama, and embrace the peaceful connections that we all deserve. I love having women on the show who have created lives and love that is aspirational, that is peaceful, that is purposeful. And today we have a guest whose story has truly touched hundreds of thousands of lives. But before we get into it, hi, I'm Sophia Spallino, your lesbian host of Queer Women Rising. I am the Luxury Lesbian Matchmaker and founder of the Queer Country Club, my monogamous lesbian dating platform. I love helping women find intentional, aligned love. And a little update on my life. I'm recording this in January. I think it's going to go up right before March. I went through a breakup in the fall, and instead of getting too down about it for too long, me and my ex were supposed to go see Wicked for good. I'm a big Wicked fan, like psychopathic level. I'm a little bit neurospicy, so when I get hooked on something, I just want to watch it over and over. It's probably really embarrassing to say, but I literally go to bed watching Wicked every night, or listening to like PBS Broadway music. Weird, I know, but when I'm hooked on something, I'm hooked on it. And I was really excited to go see this with my ex. And sadly, went through a breakup in the fall. Actually, gratefully went through a breakup in the fall because she simply was not meant for me. And I decided I wasn't going to let it ruin my holiday season. So I enjoyed that with my family. And then I booked a ticket to go see Wicked on Broadway in New York City. But I didn't have a partner to go with. So I posted it on social media and went through the DMs to find someone who intrigued me that I would want to take along with me on this adventure in New York City. I got us front row seats and had the best time ever. And although I didn't meet my future wife, I was just really enjoying myself on this trip and getting back out there. It made me realize I am truly ready to date again. And when people say, Sophia, what are you looking for? I'm going to know when I feel her, because I truly don't have a type. I appreciate masculine women, feminine women. Back when I dated men, which I did, I didn't come out of the closet until I was nearly 30. I was married to a Black man. I have dated women who are typically, I've dated a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. Yeah, I don't really have a type. I'm as much as in love with Ariana Grande as I am with Cynthia Erivo. I don't have a type other than a woman who's very clear that she wants to live and die with one wife for life. And I will not be dating anyone who doesn't go through my matchmaking process where I can look at the data. Because I was telling my co-matchmaker, I'm like, I keep women from going through hell by handling the first 5 to 10 dates for them, by gathering that data, right, as a matchmaker to see if they're aligned before I even have them bother with a match. And that's the same courtesy that I'm going to be giving myself this year. I truly won't date anyone without taking them through that process, because I'm not wasting my time on dates that aren't in alignment. So, yeah. People are going to be like, wow, she's hardcore. She's type A. She's all business. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I will most likely meet my wife on a private matchmaking call, and I am not in a hurry. At the end of the day, I've been very fulfilled. I definitely long for a relationship. Otherwise, I wouldn't have started this work, right? I wouldn't be literally God put a desire in my heart to help women find love. I love what I do. I'm so passionate about it. I wake up every day feeling very fulfilled and happy, and so happy to talk with my clients and my team. But that's the thing. I'm just pretty satisfied. I think that's where a lot of my clients are. We're like, wow, we have our dream life. We've got a peaceful life, and someone's got to add a lot of value to my life. because there's nothing in this world that I can't do for myself at this point, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially. So whoever comes into my life needs to make my life significantly better the way I would make theirs significantly better and add value to it. Otherwise, I'm simply not interested. And I know that's where my Platinum Private Matchmaking clients are as well. So it's going to be a matter of finding the spark, because finding the alignment, I'm going to go through all the data. I've got an incredible database. So I'm excited this year. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get back in there. As my friend said the other day, she messaged one of my best friends. She's like, can I get an annual membership for Queer Country Club? I'm ready to go back in, throw me in, coach. And I was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can, queen. The dating pool in Queer Country Club just got hotter with her in there. I will say that. Okay, anyways, back to this show. The guest I'm interviewing today came out in 2021 after 25 years in the closet. Very close to me. I was about 28, 29 years in the closet. Natalie Kelley. She's amazing. She's published on her coming out video, and it's really changed her life. She's been the femme representation that she's always needed. Look, that I've always needed. So many of the femmes who watch the show feel represented. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we can be the representation that we needed in the world. That's so important. But pause on this introduction. I was talking to my team this morning, and we have clients who are specifically asking for African American matches. That's their preference. And a couple of them are African American themselves. And I said, I got to start making more content that speaks to women like so directly that look very different than me, because sometimes people reach out and they're like, oh, I'm masculine, so like I can't work with you. And I'm like, what? What? Like, I help masculine women every day. Just because I happen to be white and femme doesn't mean that my clients are all white and femme. Not in the slightest. My greatest vision for Queer Country Club is all of God's children, every race, every age. I pride myself in helping women, typically ages 35 to ages 65, but the range is from 20 something to 70, typically. I really just want to change the world and help all people, all the lesbians. So just know that. But that brings me back to the point of this podcast. Like, the reason why people like me and Natalie Kelley did not come out sooner is because when we looked out into the world, we didn't see women who looked like us. And so we saw lesbians and we thought they were hot, but we thought there would be no way that like we could actually be gay. Turns out, yes. If you're listening to this, you are. But anyway, I just wanted to have her on the show selfishly because I love her content, and I followed her for years. And when we got on the Zoom call, it felt like we knew each other, which is so funny. She's just an authentic human. So we're going to dive into her self-acceptance, her growth, the stage she was in when she met her partner, Kate, which, you know, she could have just stayed in that healing era forever and stayed a victim, but she didn't. She opened herself up and she's found the love of her life. So hearing from women who have gone before us, whether they have gone before us in their spiritual growth, their creative growth, their personal growth, or their relationship growth, is what we do here on the show. And I'm just so impressed by this woman who has moved ahead creatively, has built a beautiful life, like a life she wakes up every day and loves, and gets to wake up next to the love of her life. I think that's what we're all looking for. So welcome to the show, Natalie Kelley. Oh my gosh, welcome to the show, Natalie. I'm so happy because you feel like this old friend.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. It's so crazy to like talk to you in the flesh. I know we're still virtual, but getting to talk to you after watching your videos for so long is just like, it's so surreal. So cool. I feel so honored.
Oh, I feel the same because when I see your videos come in my feed, it's like a warm hug. Your just joy shines through. And honestly, the reason and the intention of having you on the show is so women could see what's possible, the healthy, grounded, peaceful relationship that you have. So before we get into it, what would be your intention today? Like, if you're like, oh, if I sink in, like, what's my intention to share?
I love that question. I think kind of like you said, to really just, I would love to, yeah, talk a bit about me and Kate's story and our relationship. Before her, I didn't know love could be soft and safe and chill and gentle.
Mhm.
I dated men for most of my life. I know we share that in common of coming out in our mid to late 20s. And, still, even though dating women at first, I think a lot of people think like, oh, right away it's going to be calmer and gentler, but there's still a lot of not calm, not gentle when dating women. So, yeah, meeting Kate just completely changed my perspective on love and relationship and growing with a partner.
Mm.
That was so long-winded. So that's one intention. And I think too, just talking about that later in life experiences and growing confidence in your queerness. I think it's so easy to feel timid and I don't know, like insecure about so much when you come out later in life. So I'd love to talk about all that and just help other queer women see that like they can be confident, they can come out later in life and still find love and joy and happiness and success and all the things.
Yeah, it's like you're living your dream life. You got your dream girl, you're in your dream career. And for anyone who can't see because you're not watching on Spotify or YouTube, I am talking to a very beautiful feminine woman. Now, I put the L in LGBTQ. What do you identify with, Natalie?
Yes, also a lesbian.
Beautiful. Okay, so how long did it take you to realize that? Like, how old were you?
Oh my gosh. Well, the first time I remember being like, am I gay? I was 12. I was
Mm.
at a dancer. I was a dancer all growing up. Ballet, jazz, like all so girly. Oh my gosh. Pink everything, Barbies, dancer. And I was at a dance show though. And I remember being in the audience. I was with my whole family. I don't even know why we were there. I think one of my teachers was in it. And I saw this one girl on stage and I was like, oh, she's so cute. Then in my head, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean she's so cute? Why are we? And I just remember being like, oh my God, what does that mean? And I remember looking at my family and being like, I'm not going to be the lesbian of the family, even though I grew up in a very loving, very open family. Like
Really?
our pastor at church was a lesbian. My parents would take us. I know, so
You're
cool.
so lucky.
So it was like the coolest church to grow up in. Like I remember Sunday school, we would just like write cards to houseless folks and like do community service. It was awesome. But I never had seen femme representation. Like our pastor was very mask presenting. Like even my parents took us once to a gay rights march when we were younger, and it was still like I didn't, or maybe I just didn't realize. I'm sure, of course, there were femme lesbians there. They've always existed, but my brain, I didn't know. So I just
Same.
remember being like, my favorite color is pink, and I do ballet. So actually, you're not gay. And I wiped my hands clean of it, put that in a box for 13 years. And it wasn't until I downloaded TikTok and the pandemic, like having just space and time where I was just like alone all the time. I lived alone and TikTok started showing me some lesbian content and I was like, why am I so intrigued by these couples? Why am I so interested? Why am I following them? And it still took me a couple years. So I was 25 when I finally was like, all right, I'm going to talk to some friends about this and change my settings on Hinge and went through first thinking I was bisexual, started dating women and was like, nope, there's no men ever.
Wow. Okay. So, like, what was the moment where you're like, I'm going to tell people that I'm gay? That was like 2021.
Yeah, 2021. I moved to Portland and I moved to Portland to be closer to one of my best friends. I was like, you know what? Why am I living in Washington? I live alone. My parents had moved a couple hours away. I was like, let's just do a move. And of course, Portland being a very gay city, it's actually very funny. There was a woman that worked at my favorite smoothie shop that was next to my naturopathic doctor's office. So I would always go there like post doctor treat. And I thought she was so hot. And I just remember finally being like, dude, you literally go to the smoothie shop to like get a smoothie from this woman. Like there's no denying it. So one day I was with my best friend and we were on this one park bench and I was like, I need to open a can of worms with you. And I told her, I was like, I think I like girls. And she looked at me and goes, I think I like girls. And we like had this moment where we were like, holy shit. And now we're both lesbians. And it's like the coolest. Like we always are like, remember when we sat on a park bench and came out to each other at the exact same moment? And I feel like finally being able to talk about it with someone who then weirdly was going through it too. We were like, let's unpack everything. And it was so helpful.
That's so cool. What an
Mm-hmm.
experience. And I'm assuming, just an assumption, because of
Yeah.
my friends, there's no like romantic anything. Like I see them as a sister. So I'm assuming you
Yes.
guys just continued being friends, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cute. I tell people all
Yeah.
the time, like, okay, the Taylor Swift documentary just came out with I've been like
Hmm.
binging. And people were like, don't you think she's so hot? And I'm like, no, that's my sister. Cause I grew
Right.
up with
Like,
Taylor Swift music.
yo,
I'm like, no, she's my sister, as if I know her. Like this
right,
very, very unhealthy parasocial relationship where we're best friends. I'm
right.
like, everyone's like, but she comes out. I'm like, I'm a Gaylor. I believe she's come out. Are you a
Yeah.
Gaylor too?
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Okay. Or like, I'm a Gaylor, but like, if we were on the park bench coming out to each other, we would still be best friends. The only time I
Yes.
ever go like with a mouth drop is when she does like the like squat thing and that in the blue dress. You know what I'm
So
talking
good.
about? Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, you're my sister. So I
Right.
totally get that. And I think that's something I wish more straight people knew. Like
Yeah.
I went to a wedding a few months ago. My best friend's straight best friend's daughter got married. And the mother of the bride came up to me and was like, it's so beautiful that y'all are best friends and can be just best friends even though you're gay. And I was like, what? Like,
Wait.
I would never, like, ever.
Right.
What? That's so wild. So yeah.
Such a
So
misconception of like just because two people are gay, it's like they have to be into each other. And it's like, no, that's not how it works.
no. Okay. So what was it about this smoothie girl that was so much your type? Was it a type or was it an energy that she had?
I think it was just a type. Like that's when I kind of then realized, like, okay, I like more of a mask presenting woman,
Yeah.
and that still had like a little bit of femininity. So I think it was really kind of like that exploration of like, what does that look like? Which was then so interesting when I finally changed to like hinge settings. It was like cool and intimidating to be like, wait, I get to like completely figure out again what my type is, because I always just defaulted. I'm like, oh yeah, tall, dark, and handsome man, sure. And then every time I was like, why does this feel so bad? Like, what is going on? Isn't that supposed to be my type? So it was so cool of like, wait, my type can literally be anything, which was like so freeing
So
and kind of difficult at times to figure it out, but very freeing.
yeah, I think that can be the most confusing part is people
Mhm.
think like I couldn't be gay because I don't look this type, or
Mhm.
you just like straight people, you're not attracted to every type. Or some people
Right.
are, some people aren't. I have a type when it comes to femmes, I have a type when it comes to masks. So
Yeah.
I kind of can go both ways in the
Mhm.
gay world only.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so you dated for how long before you and Kate crossed paths?
My gosh. So yeah, started dating women that year, 2021. And then Kate and I met April of 2023.
And it was like long distance, right? If I'm remembering correct from
It
TikTok.
Yeah, so we met when it is so crazy. Like our story, we're like, it should have like never worked out. But here we are, we're meant to be. But I hadn't been out of my previous relationship for that long. So that's where I was like so not looking. And I was kind of debating like, should I move home for a while? Because I had just like a tough go with my breakup before that. Do I want to stay in SAC? Like kind of this back and forth. And Kate saw me on one of our friends' Instagram stories. And so that's how we met. It was actually the back of my head. She saw it. And I have this screenshot of she messaged my friend and was like, who is that blonde and why is she so cute? And so I was like, oh, I'm sure it'll be like, I don't know. Like even my friend was like, I don't know, don't DM her. Like she's kind of in her healing era. And Kate was like, okay, I won't. And then like the next day did and had no clue. I was like, maybe it'll be casual. Like we'll see. And then just like hit it off right away. But after about like, God, we've probably only been seeing each other for like a month. And then I decided like I still wanted to move home to Washington just for a few months to like ground and reset. So yeah, we were long distance for the first almost like 6 months of our relationship. But I feel like it set a really good foundation for us.
Yeah. Where you're like getting to know each other and know that you're
Mhm.
building it based on really friendship and shared values and shared
Yeah.
design for life because you're not actually just in this chemistry of physical attraction.
100%. Like we just had to FaceTime and talk, and we'd journal on FaceTime, and we had to be so intentional and write letters. And so I feel like it like forced us very much, even though we were so attracted to each other, just be like, well, we have to talk, we have to write letters, we have to plan trips and wait for them and be so intentional with our time when we would see each other. So it was really cool. By the time I moved back, it was like, wow, we've literally talked about everything, covered all the topics that I feel like sometimes I would overlook in other relationships. So
Yeah.
I feel like it really like happened for us.
So beautiful. One
Yeah.
thing that I heard and it just lit a light bulb in my
Yeah.
matchmaker brain is people say, I'm in my healing era, or they're in their healing era. And yesterday I was I sometimes between appointments, I'll just be like, I need food. And at this point in my
Mhm.
career, I don't have time to cook for myself, nor do I enjoy cooking.
Yep.
And I go sit at like a fancy like bar and order a filet or like a grilled fish and a water in the middle of the
Mhm.
day, like at a weird time, like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And this dude walks in and thinks he's going to be smart to sit next to me. And he's like, "You're the prettiest girl ever." I was like, "Thank you, but I'm a lesbian. I'm actually a matchmaker. I've got a consultation. I got to run to server. Can I get my bill?" You know, that sort of thing. Like,
Yep. Yep.
and he's like, "Well, could you help me?" Before I said I was a lesbian matchmaker, he's like, "Can you help me?" And I was like, "Actually, I can't because I'm a lesbian matchmaker." And he's like, "Okay, that's okay. Cause I'm in my healing stage anyway. I was going through a divorce." He's like, "But if I met," and he said later, "if I met a straight girl who looked like you, I'd be out of my healing era." And I was like, "That's kind," but it made me realize that we all do this because
Mhm.
we use that as an excuse
Oh yeah.
all the time. And at the end of the day, if someone wants to, they will. And
Mhm.
if you are truly a growth minded person, you realize that the healing era never ends. And if you like wallow in it, you're actually in your victim era forever.
Yep.
So, like, honestly, what I'm hearing is Kate was worth it for you to just
Yep.
step the fuck up.
100%. And I feel like too, it showed me, like, I think in my head, and this I think is something so many people think with dating is like, I have to be perfect, like this perfect version of myself to get back into dating. And Kate, like, I knew Kate was the right person for me to date because I was not a perfect version of myself. I was pretty fucking lost, excuse my language, at that point in life. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm going to move home and we're going to be long distance. And I don't really know what I'm doing and I don't know when I'm coming back. And I have a lot of big emotions and, have these things I need to still like heal from this past relationship. And she was like, bet, let me help you. Let me be there for you. Like, my, love for you is not hinging on like what you can do for me in this
Mhm.
season. So it just really showed me right off the bat of like, no matter what I go through in life, I know this girl can step up and be there for me. She is the calm, cool, collected to my like ADHD creative chaos. It's perfect. But I feel like it helped show me like, oh, I don't have to be perfect for this person, which is I
No.
think what we all want.
Yeah. You just need to be self aware enough to say exactly where you're at, honestly,
Yep.
in a very
Yep.
grounded way, which you did. And the biggest key that I need to know when it comes to emotional availability, especially before I put my stamp of approval and send someone to a client, is
Yep.
hey, are you still thinking about your ex? Like, do you
Right.
miss your ex or are you like good? Doesn't mean you're perfect, doesn't mean you're totally healed, but are you
Right.
at a place where you're like, I actually don't want that anymore? Like, if she showed
Yeah.
up at my door, I'd be like, I didn't hear that. Have a good day.
Right.
But
Who
wish
are
you the
you?
best. Like, not even rage and anger. Just, I
Yeah.
wish you the best, but you're not for me. And that's okay. My future wife wouldn't. And I'm going to have space for the one who will. So,
100%.
yeah, it's like no
Love
one's
that.
perfect. If you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not ready to date, but you're realizing, oh, like I've been just buying into lots of self help bullshit that actually keeps you a
Mhm.
victim. You might actually be ready to date because dating helps you grow.
100%. Yeah, like not intellectualizing your growth and healing so much. I was kind of thinking about it. This was the first year, this past year, I didn't read a single self help book. And
Mm,
I feel like I grew more than I ever have because I was just like focusing more on like my feelings, who I was surrounding myself with, what was I doing with my time versus like, let me sit and read this book and like intellectualize and like white knuckle my growth. And I feel like so many
yeah.
people do that after breakups as well, instead of just being like, let me live my life. Let me like sit with myself. Let me process instead of like do things by the book.
I get that. Yeah, there's no need to like fix yourself.
Right. We're
That's
not a
the thing.
project. Yeah.
No. So good. How did you know that Kate was different and that this would be a lasting relationship? Like, was there a moment where you're like, oh, like this is what it's supposed to be like? Or was it just something that kind of gradually got there?
Feel like a little bit of both. I think right away, just seeing the way and I don't like saying the word like handled my emotions because that makes it sound like my big emotions are a negative. But in past relationships, I've never had space to have big emotions. Like I have ADHD, I do have big emotions. I'm just a sensitive girl, whether they're happy or sad or overthinking or whatever. And in past relationships, yeah, I never had space to feel that, or I would kind of feel like, okay, I have to shut those down. Or I had an ex once tell me, like, I started crying about something, and they're like, but you already cried about that before. Like, why are we crying about that? And it's like, because it's not like when we feel big things, it's not a one-time thing. So right away when I would see Kate just like always give me the same level of like comfort and like let's talk about it, no matter what I was feeling or how often I'd been like, I need to beat this dead horse again and like talk about it again. She'd be like, let's do it. Let's talk about it. And then I think too, just like over time, solidified it more, seeing how her effort didn't change. I feel like that's such a non-negotiable for me in relationships that I never got in past relationships. Like you get that at the start of like not even love bombing, but just someone shows up and they do the little things or they meet your love language and then it trickles off after 5, 6 months. And we're almost at 3 years and Kate's effort has just been the same. So like the more time went on, I was like, oh, and she's still writing notes and she's still being lovey and she's still giving me compliments, just these little things. I feel like that like more and more, I was like, oh yeah, that's my person.
It's so good to hear. Yeah, the number one thing that makes someone, I say, truly partner ready is
Mm,
consistent, the ability to be consistent with consideration.
100%. Yes.
Like, I think people are very much afraid of love bombing, as we
Mhm.
should be. Future faking,
Yeah.
terribly traumatic. I've been through that.
Oh, yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
It's horrible. What would you say are the love language, like the primary love languages that you have?
Yeah. Mine would be I receive love with words of affirmation. I'm like, give me all the words, write me all the words. Like I would say, I'm like, you don't even have to buy me gifts, write me cards. It's actually so funny. Last year, she tricked me. She hid my birthday card in one of my gifts. And I remember I was like looking at my gifts and I was like, I don't see a card. And I
Ah!
texted one of my best friends and I was like, I don't think Kate wrote me a card and I'm going to have to break up with her because that is I'm a little dramatic. And I was like, if she didn't write me a card, she doesn't know me. It's been 2 years. And I'm like, she's in the other room and I'm like, don't say it, don't say it. And I was like, did you not write me a card? And she's like, oh shoot, I must have forgotten. And I was like gonna cry. And she could tell. So finally she was like, just open that present. And it was in there. So I was like, oh my God, you freaked me out. And as we go, I go and she hid another mini card in another gift and was like, a second card because I know you love them so much. And I was like, I was literally freaking out over here thinking you didn't write me a card. She's like, that was a dumb joke. I should have never made that joke. I thought you would think it was funny. But yeah, words of affirmation. And then I used to think physical touch, which I am. I love like holding hands and all of that. But I realized more and more, I think acts of service is actually my second highest. Like whenever Kate makes me dinner, does the dishes when she knows I'm stressed, or just like picks up on my energy and does things for me, I'm like, oh, I feel so taken care of. I think too, I'm very busy. I can get scattered. So just knowing someone else like has things covered, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I am so loved.
So, okay, speaking of busy, I always want to
Mhm.
interview women who have their shit together, got their life together, and you really have. I've loved watching your content and your growth. Can you tell people about your professional journey? Because,
Yeah.
yeah, you started off doing such different things to what you're doing now.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like done a million things under the sun, but my journey with entrepreneurship really started in college. I started a food blog when I was a freshman. I got really into like healthy eating and wellness, and I went to like a tiny college. This was back in 2015. So now I feel like everyone in college is into, wellness and yoga and all the things. But at that time, tiny school, I was very much the odd one out. So I was like, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to start an Instagram, like maybe connect with other people. I'd gotten really into distance running. That's when I first got into running. So started a WordPress blog and would make, recipes in my dorm kitchen and photograph them. And of course, it looked terrible at first. And then I got like really into it as college went on. I was a journalism and media studies major. So then my classes started coordinating. Like you would have to start a blog for class or learn about photography. So my professors, again, such a small college, started letting me like get credit for my blog. And I actually learned about food photography and even my capstone project senior year, I created like an ebook and I developed all the recipes and did the photos and just got me so excited about like also social media. Obviously, at that time, Instagram was so different. There were no reels. I think stories started when I was like a senior and it was like, oh my God, what is this? It was just photos, like photos and captions and blogging. And I started making a little bit of money off of social media at that point. But like, brand deals weren't a huge thing back then. So it was very new and I obviously wasn't making enough from it, but I just like I knew I was like I meant to work for myself. I do not want a boss. I would cry every time I submitted a job application. I was like, I hope I don't get it. I hope I don't get it. I do not want this. I don't want to work in PR. I don't want to be a journalist. And so after college, first I pivoted. I remember I called my parents. It was like a month before graduation. I was like, I am not doing corporate. I will actually sob every day. I'm going to be a personal trainer and like grow my blog because I loved working out and running. So I was like, that'll be perfect in between. And I got my personal training certification,
Right.
did it for 2 months. And I was like, I have to go all in on my dreams. Like, even this is like taking away from what I know I should be doing. And I'd found the world of coaching. And I also had gotten diagnosed with a chronic illness my senior year of college. So I was like, there is something there. I meant to help other people and share my story. So my parents always joke, they call me a certification junkie because I got like my health coaching, life coaching, mindset coaching. I was like, let me learn all the things on how to help other people in this way. So that's when I started my first business. It was called Plenty and Well. And I did mindset coaching for other folks that have chronic illnesses. And that was my first business I ran. I did that for over 4 years full time. And group coaching, one-on-one coaching. I helped so many people around the world.
Mm.
And it was incredible, but I definitely got a bit burnt out from it. I think also just having to talk about my own illness so much did get really hard after so many years where I was like, I actually want to step away from having to talk about this every day in my business. And I still like that business is still the thing I'm like most proud of in my life. But through it, I also just learned so much more about content creation. I'd started working with more brands in like the wellness sphere and all of that. So that's when I first started then my TikTok. And that's also when I was coming out. And I was like, wait, there's like this whole other part of my life I want to talk about and like other things outside of chronic illness.
Okay, real quick, I need to tell you about WISP, an online healthcare service that is for the girls, gays, theys, and me. In fact, for 3 years, they have been a part of my daily regimen. I know many of you listening long to create beautiful, women loving women relationships. And that, my dears, begins with excellent kitty care. Like, no offense, I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to be at a kitty cat cafe, if you know what I mean, that doesn't provide the freshest dessert for me to lick. So do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and keep your kitty cat cafe fresh. With WISP, everything from the consult to receiving meds is done from the comfort of your phone, and the company is proud of being inclusive, cost effective, and accessible for everyone. WISP believes that you know your body better than anyone else, which means no more urgent care visits for issues such as UTIs, yeast infections, or STI treatment. You can save so much time not going to in person appointments or waiting in line at pharmacies. The free shipping will save you so much time. Or same day pharmacy pickup can have you feeling better faster. Before WISP, I was prone to getting BV, but my kitty pH balance stays perfect. Chef's kiss now that I am on a consistent probiotic regimen. Ladies, this is so important. Personally, I subscribe monthly to WISP probiotics, Sexy Time Lube, and OMG cream. It's like female Viagra. I also get D-mannose and boric acid vaginal suppositories as needed, so I'm prepared if something starts to fill off down there. Also, if you're about to meet a new partner from my lesbian dating platform, you definitely want to be tested before sleeping with someone new. You can order discreet online testing from your bed before you jump into bed. Go to the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to hellowisp.com and use my code SOPHIA for 15% off. That's code SOPHIA, SOPHIA, for 15% off all your kitty needs. You're welcome. Okay, back to the show.
And
Do
that
you
kind of
mind
started,
me asking
please.
what it is, or do you not disclose the
Oh,
chronic?
yeah. I have ulcerative colitis. So
Okay, okay.
yeah, it's like Crohn's. If I feel like a lot of people know of Crohn's disease more. So chronic
Yeah.
inflammation and ulcers in your digestion.
Okay, yeah, I've just been
Yeah.
diagnosed with like mystery autoimmune stuff.
Oh
And
my
for a while they
gosh.
thought it was lupus, but now they say it's not. And at
Okay.
the end of the day, like just allergies and taking care of my body extra
Yep.
gently is so important. So I love that you
Mhm.
talk about that.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like too, having to talk about it so much and dive into it did help a lot with my own healing. So I was like always having conversations with other people who had it, like learning about what worked for them. It is such a like unique community too to be
Yeah.
a part of. Like there are so many aspects of it that I definitely do miss, and it taught me so much obviously about business and marketing and all the stuff. But yeah, I started posting when I moved to Sacramento more just also about like my life, and that's also when I got into then learning about like UGC content and just kind of grew. I remember I said to one of my friends, I was like, what if I just like fuck around and also become an influencer, like on the side of my business. She was like, if anyone can just say that and do it, you will. And so I was like, okay, bet. Like, I'm going to start learning about content creation and vlogging and editing videos. And it was just so fun to let myself like be all of me of like, yeah, there's the chronic illness side of me, but there is the lesbian side, there's the lifestyle, the wellness, like all of it. And so now that's what I do full time is social media, and some UGC creation, a little bit of freelance here and there, but mostly just my own thing, which is really awesome.
That's so amazing. Yeah, to get to
Yeah.
that point where you don't have to think about it. You just know that your like deal flow is going to come in for UGC
Yeah.
because of the brand you've created. People are going to ask you to create for them. That's the best feeling.
Yeah. It's so fun every day. I'm like, what the heck? This is crazy.
So amazing. Okay, which brings me to what we were talking about before we started the camera rolling, like AI stuff. Like you were saying, what were you saying about your Substack, which you can
Yeah.
shamelessly promote? But yeah,
Yeah, I
tell us
did
about
just
that.
yeah, I just started my Substack. I of course told myself I would do it for a year, and I feel like when you know something's meant for you, you just kind of keep ignoring it because you're like scary. That actually means a lot to me. So if anyone listening to this is following me, they saw me this last year, relaunch my YouTube, a podcast, and quickly realized that is not filming my life more on other platforms was not for me. I love being on podcasts. I love talking, but having my own podcast also, I was like, that was not truly my calling. And it's writing. Like, I have always loved writing ever since I was little. Like, all I ever did was write songs, write stories, make fake magazines, and write like always, 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 always. And it's always called me back to it. Like, I know I would love to write books one day. And so I finally just bit the bullet. I was like, girl, start your Substack, share your writing. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's vulnerable, but it's been so fun. It's only been a couple weeks and I'm having just so much fun with it. I'm definitely going to share
Okay.
more about my queer journey on there because I think there needs to be just like more resources and information like that out there. But what we were talking about with like AI and, chat GPT and everything is like, scrolling through that platform, like it is just so obvious when someone is not using their own creative gifts in their brain, whether it is to write or create like content on social media. Like I was even saying before, I can tell when people comment on my Substack and it's a chat GPT response, which I'm like, it's a sentence. You're like, that tells me you also didn't read my article and therefore like don't comment. I don't need your engagement that
Yeah.
badly.
No. And it puts a bad taste in my mouth. So there's a lot right now where I can tell, and I would obviously never call anyone out. But it's sad because I see people that I genuinely like now
Hmm.
creating content where there's nothing wrong with using a teleprompter. I've used it
Right.
before, but where they've literally just chat GPT something that they are not an expert about in
Hmm.
any capacity, have no authority to speak on it, and are just reading this script. And
Yep.
it blows my mind. Also, like these like fake accounts that are not even real people
Yep.
make it look like they're a podcaster talking. I'm it burns me up so much because
Yeah.
as content creators, we worked so hard to establish authority in the areas where we have put in hours to become an expert in something. I've been doing coaching since 2018.
Wow.
Um, and in matchmaking world, like building dating industry content and dating industry coaching since 2019. Like I
Mhm.
know what I'm doing, and
Yep.
it really upsets me when I see people either ripping off my stuff or just doing AI generated bullshit, because
100%.
there sadly are people who are gullible to it because they don't know. Like they
Yep.
don't know that it's AI. And what's really scary is eventually I'll be able to take a video of me that's literally probably 5 seconds of saying one thing, tell AI a script that I paste in, and it would generate this like perfectly made up version of me that looks real, like I'm talking, and people can just spit out content with no effort. That's so scary.
It is. I was actually voice messaging one of my best friends this morning, and we always were just like talking content, business. And we were just saying that because she also started in social media around 2015. It's actually how we met. We've always been long distance our whole friendship because we met over Instagram in
I have friends like that.
2015, right? Like as little food bloggers, we're like, look at us now. Oh my God.
Yes.
And we were saying like kind of being some of those like I don't want to say like OG creators, but starting in creation when like people were literally just like bearing their soul in captions because all we had were like a single feed post and then you had to write. You had to just like There was
Yes.
no shortcuts. And I think too, like we've gone into this what am I trying to say? Like era of social media too, where everyone thinks they have to be an expert on something to grow. And I'm like, share
No.
your journey, share your life. Like, I want to see the raw, the real, the vulnerable. Like, I don't care if you're not an expert on your hobby or something you're passionate about. Like, just talk about your feelings or your journey. And I even saw yesterday on Substack, which this is something too. I feel like so many platforms are now, it's like social media's turned into like multi level marketing where everyone just like grows. And then they're like, now I'm just going to teach you how to grow. And that's how I'm going to grow. I'm like, stop it. Tell me about
Yeah.
your life. Tell me about whatever. But someone like literally gave the tip on Substack and just said, use ChatGPT to write your posts. Like it was straight out. And I was like, you're going to take advice from this woman saying she is making hundreds of thousands of dollars on Substack when she basically just admitted she doesn't write it. I like actually, I was sitting in bed reading it and I was like, I need to put my phone away. I'm going to crash out right now. I was like, we have to use our brains. We have to get back to our creativity because it's sacred and like we're going to ruin our brains.
Yeah. Actually ruin it. There's one, we're recording this January 7th. I would think this will probably go up sometime in March because I do like 2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking about the new year and I'm telling my team, I'm like, I'm going to not be working at a certain time of the day. Like, I
Yep.
have to stop. I
Mm-hmm.
have to relax. Like, it's impossible. I cannot respond to an email at
Yep.
3 in the morning. And I used to do that. I used to, if it was urgent, I used to do it. And I just can't anymore. Like, I
Yep.
feel like I'm going to combust. And I am so just at a place where I'm disgusted with where it's going because everyone's going to end up trusting people who truly can't be trusted in that area. And that's
100%.
scary shit. That's just so scary.
Yeah.
But my advice, because like as you said, social media, um, brand coaches became like a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah.
I used to have a social media training academy. Unlike some people, I had actually grown mine to
Yes.
500,000 followers. And I was hitting very high months in revenue and
Mhm.
I'd been doing it for a while. So I was actually skilled enough to teach it,
Yep.
but most people weren't
Yes.
and aren't. And it was sad. I don't do that anymore. But all that to say, like, don't take advice from somebody who hasn't done it before. And no one
Yep.
has to have it perfect or all
Yeah.
figured out. Heck, I'm a matchmaker. And I personally, at this point, January 7th, I'm single. At the end of the day, no one's life is perfect, but when it comes to advice, like when it comes to business advice, if someone hasn't walked it, they're not actually doing it,
Yep.
they haven't actually built it. Oh my gosh, like be careful because
100%.
yeah, it's really scammy. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's another thing too. I can tell through your content you're an authentic person.
Mm.
And like just getting on the call, I'm like, oh, it's so warm because you're exactly who you are on your videos. And like yesterday, I got on a call with a new client in Australia and she was like, oh, is this so nice? Like to actually talk to you and it be you. And then she was like, is this you? And I was like, what, you think I'm AI on Zoom? And I was like, actually, that probably happens to people.
Probably.
Yeah, it probably
Scary.
happens to people. But yeah, like I think in a world where things are getting more AI, pretty soon you'll be able to buy a girlfriend robot.
Literally.
Literally, what matters most in life isn't success, isn't fame, isn't all the things we think it is. It's actually like these little conversations where you can like be present with a human
Yeah.
and the
100%.
relationships. That's like the value of our life because all of this is getting out of hand.
100%. Like it's really just being your authentic self, showing up as that, whether just in your real life or if, someone listening to this wants to start their own business or start on social media. And then also, yeah, taking advice from people that have walked the walk. That's what like I even do just like one-off mentorship calls with people about social media because it's like
I was
in
about to
business.
ask you.
Yeah. And a lot of my clients will be people that were my clients from my chronic illness business because they're like, these business coaches don't talk about like what was the business that you built that you now know. And it's like, I'm the same way. Like I would way rather work with someone where I'm like, wait, I either saw you do that business or see you grow in socials and you're a real person. And I know you have real advice that isn't, again, copy paste from chat or other people.
Yes. Or if you've only made money by telling people how to make money.
Yes. Because people will pay any amount to learn how to make more. 100%. 100%.
I remember that like when I was doing business coaching, I was like, wait, but like how how do you want to learn this? So, okay, can people do this with you? And if they're interested, where would they go?
Yeah, so it's just in like the link that's in my TikTok or my Instagram. There's just a Google form to fill out because I always want to make sure first that someone is like aligned and I can help them with their goals with social media or business. And then we just book a call from there. So very simple.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't do it that much anymore. That's like not the focus of my work. So I'm glad
Totally.
that I can recommend someone who
Yay.
is great at it.
Thank you.
What would you say are your, if you didn't have Kate in your life, it would be like your future wife wish list, and it can be things that she embodies. Because I
Yeah,
always want to ask this on the show.
I love that question. That's so fun. Yeah, I'm like, wait, I'm just gonna name everything Kate has.
Yeah, you can just go down the Kate list.
Yeah, definitely the calm energy. Like I am someone that needs like calm, consistent. Like I know every day she comes home from work, happy to see me, not different. Like I don't like to tiptoe around someone's energy. That makes me very anxious. Someone who's very secure, secure attachment in all areas. Humor and like goofiness. Like I am so weird. Like I am just goofy and weird and yeah, needing that to match my energy. Oh my gosh, there's so many other things. Let me think. Someone that also like shared values and morals around obviously like world stuff, but also just like aligned in how we want to run a household, raise kids one day. We just are very similar in planning. We are not great with very spontaneous things. So I like that alignment of we're very organized and planning
That's what
girly.
I need. I need that. I need a
Yeah.
wife who's type A as well. Because I've tried
Yes.
dating type B women. Unless I've dated one type B woman who had a full time, like nearly live in maid, and that worked because she was a mess, but the maid
Right.
would pick it up, and it
Perfect.
was like it was great, and I loved her. Like the maid was an incredible lady, so sweet, loved it.
Right.
Could not do it again unless you want to pay someone to clean it up because it surely isn't going to
Yeah.
be me. And my
Nope.
last relationships, I would like visit for like 2 weeks at a time because the long
Mhm.
distance lesbian life. And I'm
Always.
like, realize like if I'm not picking up or washing your laundry, you're not doing it. What?
Right. Right. You're not there, mom.
No. And I date, girl, I date older women. These were like
Right.
women who were like 50 to 60. I kid you not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, we can't be having that. Exactly. Like,
No.
even if we didn't have each other, we're self-sufficient. Um, Definitely someone with, yeah, like passion and wants to do hobbies together and learn together. I'm someone that like wants a million hobbies. Let's do crafts. Let's paddleboard. Like being able to share in that with someone, I think is so important. Um, Communication. Oh my gosh, clear communication. Tell me how you're feeling. Let me talk about how I'm feeling. Let's figure like that. Let's figure it out together. Energy is so important also.
I liked what you said, not tiptoeing around energy.
Can't do it. I've done that in the past.
So, so important. Yeah.
It is so draining. Like if you have to wake up and be like, oh, what energy are they going to wake up in? What is the energy they're coming home from work in? Like it's so draining, especially as like someone who is very sensitive to energy. I'm
Yeah.
like, of course we're people with emotions that can go up and down and fluctuate, of course, but in like a normal manner and someone that knows how to like handle their own frustration or whatnot and not just dump it.
Yeah, there's a difference between like being upset about a situation or feeling something or being
Yeah.
upset at you or
Right.
something else. Yeah.
100% right. Like bad day at work totally happens, but not then taking that home and letting it like completely change our vibe for the night.
Yeah. Your partner, so you're obviously a creative. Does your partner do like the 9 to 5 traditional, have that grounded stability for your relationship?
Yeah. Well, she's a PE teacher, so if you can call that grounded. So
Oh,
definitely the traditional, I know such a funny like lesbian stereotype, the gay PE teacher, but stability in the sense of she has those more normal hours, which I think works really well for us because then I get like my creative time. Also her hours kind of help force me to also like end work because I could also just work all night. There's always more you can do and ideas and projects. And I'm like, she's home. We make dinner, we take the dog on a walk. And she has a lot of days off still, which I love dating a teacher because then we still get to like play into that. Like, wait, I have total flexibility and free will. You have the whole summer off. Let's go to the beach for the day. Let's go on a weekend trip. Like
that's so
it's
fun.
really nice.
So nice. I didn't realize how stressful a PE teacher's life could be, though, literally until yesterday, because I had a new client come in who is a PE
Oh
teacher,
my
which
God.
is so random, back to back
Weird.
days. But yeah, she was telling me like how she still has to grade things,
Yes.
and yeah, like how intense it is to like get grants for her students. It's,
Oh my
yeah, a
God.
lot of work.
Yeah, Kate's school too. They don't even have a gym. So she teaches outside all year
Wow.
round when it was in the like 40 degrees, when it's 100 degrees. So there's also just this aspect of like, how do you wrangle that many kids when there's not walls and like keep them on track and actually listening? And then it's freezing or it's really hot. And yeah, it's just so much coordination goes into it. I had no clue either. Like dating a teacher is just like completely shifted my brain. It's insane.
Yeah, they work a lot. They deserve a lot more pay for sure.
So much more. It's disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're literally raising up our next generation. So yeah, they should be getting paid the most. It's wild the
100%.
work they do. But that's
Truly.
awesome that you've got this groundedness. I relate as an entrepreneur where
Mhm.
when I'm not dating someone, I struggle with work boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Cause I'm like, what do I have to look forward to? Like my next client could be my wife. Might as well keep working. Like
And there's
that's
always more that could happen. We could always make more content or start a new thing. Yeah.
always a new thing. Oh my God, my poor manager. Like when Monday comes and she's like looking at me in our meetings, like, okay, what crazy ideas got into your head this weekend? Because
Oh my God.
I don't really do weekends. Are you better at making weekends now that you have a partner?
Yeah, definitely. Like anytime I've been single, oh my God, all I do is work because I'm like, well, I love work. It's so fun. Like I
I
will
do
just
too.
work so much. But yeah, weekends I've been a lot better, especially since Kate and I live together now. Like we really prioritize that. I think something too, like it is still very easy for me if I don't know what our like weekend plan is, my brain will still automatically be like, oh, I'll still have a few hours to do work Saturday and Sunday. And we've gotten a lot better of like we have to pre-plan our weekends because then I know like where I need to have really strong work boundaries. But she's also so great. Like there are times where I'm just like, hey, I either have stuff that I really want to work on, especially now with writing, or I just like actually need to do like an ad I need to film, or I didn't have time to edit it this week and it's due. And she's always like, yeah, do your thing. Like, absolutely, like, never makes me feel bad for that. But it has been nice. Like, I've never had more work life balance. And I think that's just like this past year living together for the first time. Like, I just was able to explore a lot more of like hobbies and we coached cross country together and just did a lot of things outside of my work, which I was like, whoa. And then of course that adds into like, wait, I'm feeling more creative and have more to share because I'm doing more things or exploring more things or learning about new things. So, yeah, it's been really nice.
That's so good to hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think the more time I give my self space to truly like tap out, like
Yeah.
even in Pilates class, if I'm like, I'm not going to think about work right now, or like I'll literally stay up at night. Say I sign on a new client in Australia where it's significantly harder to match someone that's not in the USA. Like, let's be real, I'm real with them
Hmm.
before I take their payment. I'm like, this will be more of a challenge. I'm the one for the job if anyone can do it, but this will be
Yep.
more of a challenge. I will literally lay awake at night, like, or pop up at 3 a.m. and just be like, I gotta find a match for Sarah. And like,
Yeah.
we had like two lined up, but then like during the interview, it didn't go good, and I can't send that person to her. I don't want her to get ghosted by them or whatever. Like all these thoughts flooding my brain at all times, and now I have 10 employees, so I'm just very always everywhere. And
Yep.
so I realize that the more I tap out, if I'm like, hey, I'm going to Pilates and I refuse to think a thought about work, and when the
Mhm.
thought comes up, I catch it, I
Yep.
actually get back to my desk feeling more energized and like so many more creative ideas to solve problems than before.
Yep. 100%. I feel like that's why I love running so much. Just like with Pilates, where like moving my body, I'm like, can't be on my phone. I'm running. You can't like write down notes while I'm doing it. Like it forces me to just be like fully present. And also, I just then find, yeah, like when I'm done with that movement, I'm like, wait, my brain feels clearer. Like I didn't forget the ideas I suddenly had on my run. Like I can actually sit down and give them actually more time and space because I'm like, I did something for me.
Yes. And for any creative listening who deals with like a little ADHD or a little
Yeah.
neurospicy, I think the biggest commitment we can make to ourselves, especially listening to this, like recommit, like no multitasking. Like
Yes. Oh my God.
it's so hard. I pull myself back every day. I fail at this every day, but when I pull myself back, I like realize even just in a conversation, like how present can I be
Yeah,
for this one thing? So important.
100%. Yeah,
So important.
absolutely.
Okay, before we go, you've manifested someone that is obviously tried and true. This relationship is so stable, so secure, so grounded. If you could give anyone advice about attracting this type of person into your life, attracting a healthy relationship. As you said, you didn't think you were ready before, but then she
Right.
stepped in. What would that be? Who do you have to be to get what you want?
You truly have to first like treat yourself like a partner. I spent so many years of my life like honing in on my own relationship with myself. I feel like I especially really started that in 2020 because it was like, oh, I'm actually sitting with myself and there's things I need to figure out internally. And ever since then, like I've prioritized getting to know myself, sitting with myself every day. And therefore, like I'm my own best friend. I love myself. Like truly, I will back myself till the end of time and, I have a very strong opinion of myself. No one else's opinion can sway that. And I feel like that really helped me because I then knew like if someone's energy didn't, feel right with my own, I can trust that intuition. I can trust that energy. And I just think it helps so much with actually waiting for that right person, knowing like I've got me. I don't need to rush. I do not need to settle. I'd rather just like hang out with myself all day and all weekend than settle for someone who's not matching up with or adding to my life that I've created with myself. And I think too, when we do not sit with ourselves enough or do not fully know ourselves, it's so much easier to get into relationships that are not truly aligned or don't give us what we really need because we're not even clear on what that is.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, you have to really know what you want. And if you don't, start with what you don't want. Write
Yes.
down. That's what I always say, like write down your 2026 future wife ick list. And I would start with the
Hmm.
things that like hurt your heart in past relationships, things
Yeah.
that really upset you, writing that down on the left page, and then on the right page, writing your future wife wish list and being like, okay, so if the left side said like, I was really hurt when Sarah chose her friends over me over this really important situation. Like my future wife always prioritizes our relationship and makes me feel number one and seen and validated. And so you become like getting these two lists. So if you can't think of what you want and you're not clear, start with what you don't want, work
Yeah.
your way from there. And if you're ready, if you're coming to this podcast because you're hearing it from Natalie's page, if you're ready to talk, I work with monogamous, emotionally available women who are truly ready to find their life partner. You can work with me by going to the link in my bio and booking a private consultation for private platinum matchmaking. Or if you want to start in a more affordable direction and you don't mind getting on a platform publicly, most of my private clients are really private and discreet. But if you don't mind publicly, I have an incredible platform that's different than anything out there, Queer Country Club, and it is for monogamous women. You can't get on the platform if you use AI in your images. You can't get on the platform if you identify not as a woman or not as a man. You can identify non-binary, but if you identify as a man, no bueno. And you have to be very clear that you're ready to live and die with one wife for life. So yes, you could be bisexual. I will admit most 95% of clients are lesbians.
Mhm.
But no matter how you identify in the LGBTQIA alphabet, you're welcome. Just being very clear that you want to live and die with one wife for life. You can sign up on queercountryclub.com. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a DM and ask me, and I'll be happy to help. Now, how do people get in touch with you, Natalie, if they want to
Yeah.
start reading your Substack and follow your journey? What's the best way?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Everyone can find me. I'm like, everyone. That was so dramatic. Anyone can find me. Instagram and TikTok are both at It's Natalie Cass. My Substack is linked in both of those bios. My Substack is also It's Natalie Cass as well. And yeah, those are the main spots.
Love it. For people who like don't know you, it's like just know her content's going to be like a warm hug, a
Mhm.
realistic, grounded lesbian relationship, seeing something very peaceful, like your routines, your dates. the healthy things you do, like your gut tricks for your
Yes.
tummy. Like it's just a good time, a peaceful time. And when I see your content come up, I'm like, oh, that's good for my nervous system. So I always stop.
Oh, I love that. That makes me so happy. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. And we need more like that out there in the world. And especially what it's all becoming on all the platforms. So keep it authentic. We appreciate that part of you. I wish you and Kate so many more years of happiness.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on here.
You're welcome. Have an amazing day. And friends, if you are single and you are looking for love, begin by knowing what you don't want, to know what you do want, and know that it is possible. I know it can get kind of um, discouraging out there until you see someone like Natalie and Cass. Like if you see them, not Natalie and Cass, why am I blanking? Natalie and Kate. Until you see someone like Natalie and Kate, it's like, does that really exist? But it does. And the key is going to be not settling until you find it yourself. And I know that women are out there because I talk to them every day. Before I did this work, I didn't really believe that there are quality humans out there, much less lesbians, because we're 1%. But what we see in your content, I love talking to you face to face because it's like, okay, that's real.
Yes.
And it's possible for all of us. So keep that hope alive and keep your standards high until we find it for ourselves.